Hey everybody, thanks for clicking on another episode of Drawing with Randy here on the Indie Comics Network. Today I'm going to teach you how to cartoon hands. That's right, get real handy, but first, the rules of cartooning. Take it away, Bob.
And don't forget our rules of cartooning. All you need is paper and pencil and a good eraser. Make sure you draw light because we're going to be using that eraser. And most importantly, don't get frustrated. Here we go.
And that third rule of cartooning is going to come in very important today. Please don't get frustrated. Hands are not as difficult as a lot of young or starting cartoonists think that it is. Actually, a hand is just a palm, which can be shown as a circle if the hand is flat out in front of you, plus a thumb and fingers. Most early cartoons used 3 fingers because it was so much easier for the animator to do other than to add that 4th finger sitting off to the side. Whether you use a thumb and 3 fingers or a thumb and 4 fingers or a thumb and 2 fingers is entirely up to you. The more fingers that you use, the more serious your hand is going to look. Very simple. Circle for a palm, thumb off to the side, 3 or 4 fingers on top, plus a palm line here for the front. Now if it's the back of the hand, on a lot of the old school cartoons you would see them wearing gloves, and that's just a curved line to signify the roll up of the glove back to the wrist, which I believe was the style of the day, and 3 lines on the back. A lot of older gloves have those 3 lines. There were originally seams right there that fit between the fingers. Alright? It's very easy to do. If you have a rough time with it, just keep practicing with it. You will eventually get it. Make sure you can always look at other examples, other cartoons that you like, other artists' way that they draw hands. Very important. And this basic technique still holds true if you're going to go through and do more serious handwork, only that circle will end up being a kind of a square, a 2-dimensional square with the thumb and the joints attached to it. And then same thing with the fingers. And the fingers are going to be varying lengths, just like your hand, just like everybody else's hand. And everything else is bent around those joints. There, 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 there. Now, if you're dealing with the flat of the hand, instead of using a circle on a cartoon hand, think about it, that hand would end up looking more like an oval. Then again, you would add that thumb and fingers. Fingers would probably be your first finger will be in front, the other fingers will be behind. I'm sure you've seen a lot of cartoon illustrations with this, that mainly to show that the other fingers are back behind. Exaggerating it is entirely up to you and the style that you choose to work in. And it can be as detailed or as simplistic as you wish. Now, if you're drawing a hand and you're going to have him holding something, again, super easy. Well, before we do that, let's make a fist. A hand that makes into a fist, you'll always start with the thumb and roll it over. Think of it like one of those big, long hot dog balloons that you get sometimes that you blow up. It's like that, only it's bent over. Same thing with the fingers. They're going to roll right over top of that palm as if it was a ball. Very easy to make a fist. The first 2 fingers, first finger is going to be under the thumb. Second finger is going to be slightly under the thumb. Third finger is going to be just wrapped around it like a ball. Again, you're going to show that palm line, and then at that point you're going to erase the lines that you do not want anybody else to see. And that leaves you wide open then for inking or adding any other detail that you feel is necessary. See how easy that is? It is that easy. Now, for the back of the hand, if you're looking at the hand from behind and you're making a fist, the thumb and the fingers are going to be rolled over. So you're still going to see these bumps, these knuckles over top. And what you erase on that are where the knuckles hit the hand and a little bit of the thumb. You're still going to want to leave a little tuck line right there to show that that thumb is wrapped around the front of that hand. And again, the little roll up for the glove if it needs it. Back of the hand again, you'll see those 3 lines. At least on the old school cartoons, or cartoons that are meant to look like old school. Now, if we're going to have him holding something in his hand, again, it's very easy to do. And you'll start out with that palm. You'll draw in whatever you think you'd like for them to hold. Let's say it's a can of pop. Just lightly sketch it in. Doesn't have to be very detailed. After all, you are cartooning and it's meant to be drawn in a hurry. Then you would draw the thumb and the other fingers. The fingers are wrapped behind this can, so they're going to be wrapped around it, just like you would wrap around the ball of the fist, only not quite as much, because you have all of this extra distance here behind that can. And again, you would just go through and erase the lines that nobody needs to see anymore, where the thumb hits the hand, where the fingers are in front of the can, the part of the can or the part of the palm that's behind the can. Boom. And again, a palm line or whatever else you need. If you need to add a little bit more for your thumb, that's entirely your style choice. So again, don't let hands overwhelm you. Don't let them scare you off. Don't let them keep you from drawing cartoons. Don't let them keep you from experimenting. Experimenting's half the fun of cartooning. Now, for example, if you have a rough time figuring out how to make somebody hold something, take that something up to a mirror or something close to it and hold it, and take a look at how your hand looks in the mirror. For this example, I'm going to show how to draw somebody holding a pencil, because that always seems to come up in class and it seems to throw a lot of young artists. Easy again. We've started with that palm, which is a circle, even though it's sitting on a flat surface. We're going to draw in that pencil, just a couple of quick lines. We're going to draw the thumb in here on the side, on top of the pencil. It's very important. Then we're going to draw that first finger down also on top of that pencil in order to guide it. The other 2 fingers we're going to put in behind, and we're good to go, other than erasing the parts that we don't need any longer. That part is there. This needs to go. This part of the circle, that part of the circle. I have my eraser set up way too high. I'm going to drop that down a little bit here. That's way too high. Alright, there. And we can erase what we don't need. You're not hearing that walking on the stairs. Or up the stairs. Everything else is all added detail and getting yourself ready to see it in your mind's eye in order to ink. And again, your hand can be as detailed, as cartoony, as serious looking as you care to make it. And if you've seen any cartoons lately, you see that they'll jump back and forth between ultra serious and ultra cartoony at times, depending upon the tune, of course. Everything else is all added detail. A little bit of shadow back here in order to make it look like the pencil is actually resting there. You can throw a thumbnail in if you need, or 2, depending upon the amount of detail that you want to throw in there. The more you fine-tune it, the more you're going to see it in your mind's eye and have it ready to go for when you're ready to do a final or to do inks. But I encourage you always to play and practice, because that's really the key to getting better, getting that hand-eye coordination down, and figuring out how to have fun with it. Now, before I go, I want to give you a few more hints, a few more cartooning secrets to keep in mind while you are drawing hands. Now, if you have a cartoon body and the person's hands are right out in front of you, big thing to remember is that thumb is always pointed in. Unless your wrist is twisted, that thumb is always going to be pointed inside towards the body. If it's twisted, if you're hitchhiking or handling something in a different manner, then the hands will be in your thumb will be on the other side. But that is, I won't say it's rare, but it hardly happens. So always keep that in mind. The second thing that I want you to know and keep in mind is that when you have hands sitting down by your side and the hand is at rest, that hand is never straight. If you look at Mickey Mouse is always a really good example for me, because I love Gus Gus's work tremendously. He did the early comic strips back when Mickey had the eyeball that was the circle with the piece of pie taken out of it. That's my favorite Mickey. But if you look at the hand, and if it's at rest, you're going to have that thumb and those fingers are not going to be straight down. That only happens when they're standing at attention. You'll see that those fingers are also relaxed. That's a real easy mistake, and that's something to always keep in mind. All right, and again, the more serious that you want to be taken, the more detail you want to throw into it. There's so much more that you can do. Please also keep in mind that the majority of the time, if you're drawing a female hand, the hand is going to be a little thinner, the fingers are going to be a little thinner, a little more feminine, and there are likely, not always, to be fingernails. And that's it today for hands. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you drop those into the comments below. Be more than happy to help you out any way I possibly can, help you get along to draw. It's what I love to do. If you haven't liked and subscribed yet to the Indie Comics Network, please do so. There's more videos on the way. I've got a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of stuff to show you. And if there's a particular cartoon character that you need to learn how to draw, feel free to drop me a line and ask. Don't be afraid to do that. It's going to be a lot of fun as we go along. I also podcast here on the Indie Comics Network. You can catch me on the Zimcast at 8 p.m. every Wednesday Eastern Standard Time, where we talk more about comics and the business itself. Friday mornings at 5 a.m. I also do Comics by Night, where we talk about the bones and the inner workings of actually doing sequential art. And then also on Sunday at 9 a.m. I do the Sunday Funnies, where we talk about the comics that we love and the things that fuel our passion to be doing this business, this great art form that we call comics or sequential art. All right? Thanks again for stopping by. Deeply appreciate you being here. We'll see you soon. Take care.